Yachtmaster Shorebased advice for prep for the passage making assessment, which is in two parts. This is about part A. So there are two exams or two assessments for passage making. There's part A, which is 2 hours, and part B, which is 1.5 hours. Prior to that, you get a pre-assessment appraisal document. Spend about 2 hours preparing that. You have that already. Note that the allocation of marks, 16% of the marks to the appraise section, and about half the marks, are 48%, are to the plan section, and some of that is quite time consuming. And then the execute is quite small at 5%, 25% of your time to the monitor section, and the short answer questions only a small amount. So those last three are in part B. So part A is occupied entirely with appraise and plan, and nearly 3/4 will be in the plan stage. Remember, as always, we're using the APM model, which is appraise, which is about collecting, assessing all the relevant information required for the intended passage. Now, you should have done this already, and certainly in the last few days, finalize that, get it really neat and in a way that you will use. Remember, you're the customer for this information, not the examiner. And a good way to parse it out is use the SOLAS 5 Regulation 34 list, which is organise it in weather, tide, boat, crew. For example, the crew would be roles on board, could be your watch rota. You know, you might have shorter watch rotas in hot weather or rough weather, longer watch rotas in nicer weather. Navigational hazards, and a lot of time needs to be spent on that, and information ashore and contingency, quite a bit of time there. And then you're refining that into a plan, which is develop and approve the passage plan based on the outcome of the appraisal of all the relevant information. And you're using the same formula, weather, tide, boat, crew. So you're kind of filtering it through those 7. Execute then is in the second week, so it's about briefing the crew and then executing it, running the plan, and then monitoring the plan. And you're using those 7 steps on each of those. So more about that next week. So here's the questions you're likely to get on the passage making appraisal A. So first one is about estimated time en route, and you'll find information on that in voyage planning on pages 135, 138 in the notebook, and we did cover it in the exercise shown there on the screen. There's a PDF of this slide available. You will need to be up to speed on your weather analysis. Now you've got all the weather information in advance in booklet YM7. Study that inside out so you can answer weather analysis questions fairly easily. Spend a good time poring over the navigational hazards. So while there's only one question on it, it does come up in quite a lot of other things, so it'd be totally on top of all the navigational hazards. The fixed hazards like headlands, rocks, shallows, etc., and then the dynamics such as overfalls, tidal races, shipping itself, and you've TSSs and prohibition areas as well. Be up to speed on your tidal streams. Work out when you would do the passage, looking at the optimum time around the key headlines, and build up your picture there. When are you going to do the passage? Do it as if you're actually doing it yourself. Look at the tidal heights. Pretty obvious, you need to assess the tidal heights for your departure port, which will help you determine your departure time, and likewise your arrival port. You got to stay on top of your secondary ports skill set here. And that all leads to start putting together a picture around what you think the arrival time is, which is gathered from the previous questions. It's fairly obvious you're going to have to do pilotage plans for the departure port and the arrival ports. That's questions 7 and 10, and you will have to be on top of any issues around night pilotage. So look at the factors if you were going through either of those ports, for example before dawn departure from the departure port, or after sunset arrival at the destination port. So just be on top of those. And then a huge chunk of the time, and it's 31 of the total marks will be allocated to this. So that's 31% of the entire 3.5 hours of the exam. So you're talking about an hour here, just plotting your waypoints and routes. You will be given the waypoints, but you need to be able to plot quickly and accurately lots and lots of waypoints, and then develop a route out of those with your course to steer information all worked out there, and your estimated time for each passage. That takes a considerable amount of time, and then analysing the hazards en route between the waypoints. So that in itself, question 9, will take you about an hour. So with your pre-assessment appraisal, we were given that before Christmas. So being totally on top of it is a 1 page, and you're the customer for the notes. So make them in an easy to use format that you're happy with. It should take you 2 hours. It may take you a little more. Study the almanac inside out and study the weather booklet and make notes. Do list your ports of refuge and note the page and the plan on the almanac. No need to do pilotage plans for your ports of refuge. Do study any customs immigration issues around the Neptune Islands. Note the passage information in the almanac, and that's really important. You need to study that. It can get overlooked. It's page 29 and 30 for the Northern Territory, 68, 69 for Southern Peninsula, and then of course Neptune Islands 95, which we haven't really touched that much during the course. Be on top of the weather booklet, and rather than just relying on the booklet itself, distill out the notes that you would use for a passage for the times and areas you're given, so that you can cut out all the noise out of it, so you just have it refined down. Remember your sources of information. There are 4 of them: the synoptic charts, the shipping forecast, the inshore water forecast, and the GFS forecast, or the smartphone forecast. There are a few of them in the booklet. Make sure you're choosing the right dates and the right areas. Ensure your tidal work is done, your tidal heights for your departure and arrival ports. So you need to be on top of your secondary ports. And of course Victoria, which dictates the tidal streams. So you need the high water time, the high water height and the range, and the tidal streams for each stage at the likely time. Do your hazard analysis, both your fixed hazards, your rocks, your shallows, your prohibited areas, magnetic anomalies, and your TSSs. Have a look at your dynamic hazards, which is overflows, races, shipping, etc. Read the question, do the answer, read the question again, so that you're not writing a story about something that you're not being asked for. Be very careful that you're answering the question. You could spend a lot of time answering something that's not asked and miss something that is asked. Remember, a sentence in a question can include 3 or 4 questions in that sentence, so parse that out and make your notes when you get the exam. You will be asked to upload, so we're going to use 2 Google Forms for this. So one will be the answers to your questions, the text, the numbers, multiple choice, etc., similar to the exercises. And the second one will be just uniquely for uploading images. Now the best way to do this is actually put it on your phone. So we suggest install Google Classroom on your phone or tablet, and it's very easy then to upload pics from your phone. Now we're going to need lots of pics. We need your notes and your workings. We're going to need your chart work. There's quite a lot of the chart being covered, so I'll give you guidelines on the day of exactly what areas the charts to cover with each photograph, and then pilotage plans, and that may require several photographs. You may be lucky in that you've done your pilotage plans just before the exam and there are no surprises in the exam. That's totally up to you. So on a smartphone or tablet, scan this code. You can pause the screen, or this is available on a PDF, which will take you straight to the App Store to buy, or it's free of charge to download the app. Or if you're using an Android, such as a Samsung or a similar phone, scan this image. And once you go through the authentication and you log in, you'll see that you can get through by clicking on the Yachtmaster and scroll down till you get to this section, which is class 13. And it's not published yet, so you won't see it until the day. You'll see the class 13 prep information there now, but the assessment information won't be published till just prior to the exam. And on the day, scroll down to that section, and then you'll be able to photograph and upload your work directly. So when you're taking photographs of your work, and I just have samples here, ensure the camera is square, the image is square to the camera. I don't want odd angles. It makes it very hard for us to overlay the templates on your work. Take the picture directly overhead, again not an angle, so you're not going crooked to it in any direction, no perspective. So the best way to do is actually put the chart on the floor and stand over it with the camera phone and take a few shots. Capture all your work, but no more. So I don't want to, we don't be looking around charts for work that there isn't there. So just the work that you've done, and ensure it is well lit. And likewise for your pilotage plans, your tidal height curves, do record that, so don't rub out that work, and your notes, etc. I do use color. Now I've shown the image as monochrome, and in the assessment upload we'll actually give an image of what we're looking for of the area, but obviously without any work done, so you can just crop to that area directly. So good luck, and we're here to help you at any stage.